Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. You never know what you're going to see, and you never know who's going to do it on opening day in baseball. I didn't even see one of my top 5 favorite opening days. It was when Bob Feller threw a no-hitter on opening day in 1940 in Chicago. Never been done before or since. Then there was the Rocky Colavito for Harvey Keene trade, just 2 days before the Indians and Tigers met in 1960 at the stadium when Rocky struck out 4 times and grounded into a double play. Then one of the iconic moments in all of baseball history. Manager Frank Robinson, 1975, inserts himself into the DH spot in the lineup, hits a homer off Doc Medich as the first African-American manager in the second hole in the lineup. The Tribe went on to win that game 5-3. Then former Tribe manager Mike Hargrove, managing for Seattle, gets the umpire to call the game in a snowstorm at Jacobs Field. Then maybe the greatest moment of them all for Cleveland baseball, 1994, Jacobs Field opens up in front of President Bill Clinton, and Randy Johnson flirts with a no-hitter with Bob Feller looking on in the press box before Wayne Kirby delivers a single to win the game in extra innings. Baseball, you never know, and it starts Friday. We start with Mary Kay Cabot tonight. More sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Monday night, it's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 24th consecutive year, soon to be 25, seen exclusively on cleveland.com. We are pleased. I don't know how it's a Monday night and Mary Kay Cabot is here, but she is. And I think she was just walking down the street and we said, hey, come on in. Mary Kay Cabot is here covering the Cleveland Browns for a lot of years. How are you, Mary Kay?
I'm doing great, Les. How you doing?
I'm well. I was thinking that in this great sports city, that if you just mention, Tom Withers is the guy that they say it's not news until Tom Withers says it's news. You've heard that?
Yep.
Okay. So I think that I've decided that you are one of the front runners in knowledge of first names only. So if I say in the city of Cleveland, Mary Kay, everybody knows it's Mary Kay Cabot. You are the number one Mary Kay in the universe, as far as we're concerned. I
Yeah,
think,
over the years, it's turned into like Cher or something like that.
yeah.
People just say like Mary Kay. Like I don't need a last name anymore. So
Well,
I guess
listen.
I've arrived.
You have arrived because I have Cher as one of the names here. You can't read it. My handwriting is terrible. I also have you right in there with Annette, which is not a bad thing to be put in with, I would think.
Okay, I'll take it.
216-575-0403. The fact that I'm the only Les in town is, we had Cleveland Magazine many years ago, 20 years ago, had the 20 most interesting people in Cleveland. And I decided they should have the 20 most interesting people named Les in Cleveland. And we only got to 3. Only 3 Les's in the whole city were interesting. So it happens.
Yeah, you know what? All these years, I've never been interesting to them. 30 years of covering the Browns, blazing a trail.
Cleveland Magazine has not chosen you as one of the interesting people?
No,
That's not.
I've never been.
You've never lied to me before. I think you're lying to
enough.
me. They've never had you as
Never
one of
happened.
the most outstanding people.
Or interesting. No, I guess I'm not interesting at all.
Well, we're going to do something
Who knew?
about that. We're going to do something. Maybe not today, but we will do something. 216-575-0403. It's a busy day for you. Big news comes out of the business world of professional football. Give us a rundown of what happened.
Well, they agreed to one thing today, and that's good. They've got a lot of outstanding issues going on between the NFL and the NFLPA. But they did agree on one very key issue today, and that is COVID-19 testing. The players wanted to be tested every single day so that they could feel confident going out there and playing the game of football. And now for the first 2 weeks of camp, they will be tested every single day. And then after that, it could be like an every other day thing. But this was one key hurdle that they had to cross.
Can any player just decide that he wants to be tested and goes to management or wherever one would go to and say, look, I just don't feel right. Can we get me on the testing list?
Oh, I'm sure. But I mean, at least in the first 2 weeks, they won't have to ask for that because they will be automatically tested every single day for the first couple of weeks. And then I would imagine after that, if someone is feeling a little bit under the weather or whatever, they will probably raise their hand and ask to be tested.
Okay, so now some words come out on dates here. July 21st, rookies report now to the actual training camp. Is that correct?
Well, that's the date that they can report for starters, but the Browns are doing it a little differently. They're having their rookies, quarterbacks, and injured players report on July 24th. Then their veterans will be in on July 28th, providing everything is agreed to. And the first practice will be somewhere around July 29th if all goes as planned.
Oh no, you're making me think that they are trying to be the smartest people in the room. Is that really what's happening here again?
No, I just think that they had a plan. This was what they came up with. We knew from Kevin Stefanski probably 3 weeks to a month ago that this is how they wanted to do it. July 24th and then July 28th. They feel like they have enough time to do what they need in those 4 days, and they're sticking with that plan.
Mary Kay, who makes that decision when Stefanski goes to whoever he goes to and he says, look, I think we need this amount of time, this many days, and so on. And each one seems to be different with other teams around the league. But so in the Browns organization, who sets that up and makes that call?
Well, these are organizational decisions that they're making right now. And of course, they have to follow a lot of plans and protocols. So there are a number of people that are involved in those decisions and those meetings. But the two primary guys are, would be Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. And then I'm sure their COVID person and a few other people would be involved, but those would be the two primary guys.
All right, we haven't heard much from Jimmy Haslam, by design or by actual direction of the NFL or by direction of the Browns?
You know what? I think that's just a decision that he's making right now. Nobody really knows exactly the moment that training camp is going to start. Nobody knows quite how many fans will be in the stands yet. So I think they're taking a little bit of a wait and see approach to it. And once they have a little bit more information, we will hear from Jimmy and Dee Haslam.
They do want fans in the stands once the game starts, don't they? I mean, maybe they don't know how many, but they've got to want them.
Yes, they want fans in the stands. They do. Now, as you probably know, the New York Giants and the New York Jets put out a joint statement today. They will not have fans in the stands for their games. That directly impacts the Browns because the Browns are playing back-to-back games in the Meadowlands on the Giants first on December 20th and then either December 26th or 27th, the Jets there. And now they will be playing to, cardboard cutouts or whatever they're going to do there. So
they saved them from the Mets game. They'll borrow them from the Mets players. So is that not changeable, or is that let's wait and see how the season progresses?
It was handed down as a mandate from the governor. So, I would imagine that that it's going to stick. But again, so many things change on a daily basis amid COVID-19 that you can never really say never. But as of right now, it seems like a season-long directive.
How about this to show you what they face up to? You said it's the governor who made that decision. You don't know if you're talking about Cuomo as the governor of New Jersey, or are you talking about the governor of New York, or are you talking about the governor of New Jersey? That's just one thing we don't even think about, yet one of those guys has to make that decision.
Yeah, it's the governor of New Jersey that has made this decision. So okay. This was not a Cuomo thing. That's my understanding.
Gotcha. Okay, the COVID-19 testing protocols, there's an agreement between the NFL and NFLPA. And at daily tests for the first 2 weeks. If the positive test rate falls below 5%, then tests will be administered every other day, and so on. This comes after players voiced some concern over the 2020 series. Do you think the Browns are? I found it was interesting who was speaking up for the players in the last day here, besides Treader, of course. But you've got a couple of interesting people on that who volunteered to speak.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got guys that have been outspoken throughout. Jarvis Landry has been one of them. Odell Beckham Jr. has been outspoken. Myles Garrett, Larry Ogunjobi. Again, as you mentioned, J.C. Treader, who is also the president of the NFLPA. And I think Jarvis Landry is the alternate player rep, or maybe now he is the player rep. But these guys are the ones that have been coming forward pretty much all the way through. So I would imagine that once Kevin Stefanski forms his leadership council early on in camp, that you will see these same names involved with that.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Annette is here tonight along with Cher. Oh yeah, Mary Kay Cabot showed up too. I'm
Mary
thinking
Kay,
a minute.
just Mary Kay.
Mary Kay, I don't need to. In Cleveland, you don't have to say Cabot, no question about that. Did you know the Ohio Lottery has paid out over $1 billion in winnings over the past 6 months? People are winning in record style, and they're winning in record numbers. Winnings happening every day around the state of Ohio. Play an Ohio Lottery game and play it today. We've got our Facebook.com each and every day. We make it simple for you. We post a question of the day. You respond to it, then we talk about it a little later in the show. That's More Sports and Less Levine. Facebook exclusively right here on cleveland.com. Mary Kay and I will return in a moment. More Sports and Less Levine comes your way exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Hey, Mary Kay, we've decided to put you on 2-a-days. I didn't know if you know that, but we were starting with 2 a week here. Pretty good birthday day. Tony Oliva, great hitter with the Twins, born on this date. Homer Dome, former stadium. Ray Allen, that's pretty good. Troy Smith, a Buckeye, a Glenville Tarbloodder. Steven Strasburg and Ben Simmons, all born on the 20th of July. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. Mary Kay, I assume there's some optimism from your looking post at what the Cleveland Browns have done and what they're doing. Tell me what you're optimistic about.
As far as the 2020 season, I think there's a lot to be optimistic about in 2020. I mean, one of the number one things that I think about when I look at this season is Kevin Stefanski and what he brings to the table. So far, I've been very impressed with his leadership. I've been very impressed with the way the players are responding to him, the staff that he has assembled, and the systems that he's putting in place. So I think that Browns fans can start to get excited about this.
All right, what specifically, what players are you mostly excited about and optimistic about? Maybe one, I mean, the obvious one would be Baker Mayfield, but if it's not him, who else is it?
Well, let me start with Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, I think he looks poised and ready to have a big season. And I think that if he can go out there and catch double digit touchdown passes, I think that that's going to have a huge impact on this season. He looks healthy, he looks fast, his mind is into it now. He's warmed up to the idea of being in Cleveland, and he seems to be all in on this whole thing. So he's one player that I think could make a huge difference.
Well, if he's not warmed up, he'll never be. It's 95 degrees, for goodness sakes.
That's true.
You followed Baker Mayfield from day one and even before that. Are you, when you see him or talk to him or hear him, do you sense he's grown up? Do you sense he's going to not have to be the star of this team? Do you get the sense that if he just does what he's supposed to do, the rest of the team will come right along with him? Do you get that feeling?
Well, I think he's willing to be coached by these guys. I think he is buying what Kevin Stefanski and Alex Van Pelt are selling. I think he has structure. I think they have a plan in place for him. And I think he likes that. I think he is one of those players that wants to have a system that he can believe in and that he knows it's going to work. At this time last year, they were still trying to figure out, what their offensive identity is. That's not happening this year. They know exactly what their offensive identity is, and Kevin Stefanski can throw on the tape and prove that it works. And I think that Baker likes that. I think it will help him play with a lot of confidence and swagger.
What helps him most as he prepares for the season? Is it the new offensive line, which looks like it's been refurbished, or is it the head coach, or is it the fact that OBJ is here on time and so on? Or is it a combination of all of those things?
I really think it's a combination of all of those things. I think it's a scheme and a system that really favors him, and yet they're not, hanging him out to dry. They supplied him with two really good offensive tackles. Of course, Jedrick Wills needs to make that transition to left tackle, but there seems to be every indication he'll be able to do that. Then they added Austin Hooper. You've got the two running backs. Now you've got Kareem Hunt on the field right from day one. You don't have to wait half the season for him to come. So he's surrounded. He has everything that he needs. He's got, including and maybe especially, a good offensive line. So I think it's a combination of all of the above.
Isn't it nice that we can sit here and talk about what's the most improvement they're making, and A, it's the offensive line, or B, it's the running attack? That's a pretty good position for this team to be in, which hasn't been in this position for maybe forever, since Otto Graham maybe.
Yeah, it's a great position to be in. And the fact that they're going to be willing to use a lot of play action and do other things to showcase Baker Mayfield's skills and to play to his strengths. I mean, we've all seen him nail it on the run. I mean, they're going to be rolling him out and, bootlegs and things like that. And he really excels in those types of situations. And then you take the pressure off of him by running the ball a lot. And it's not going to all be on him. And yet that will open things up. And he will find those throwing lanes to be able to get the ball to Odell and to Jarvis and to Austin Hooper.
Right.
So it's all set up for him.
Let's go off track a little bit. A couple of months ago, it looked like that the NFL was in the best shape because of the calendar and how much more time they have than baseball, basketball, and hockey. Now there's a couple of errors here made, and they're trying to get back. Are you surprised, number one, that they were off the table for a while, but number two, it looks like they're back in shape?
Well, it's an ever-changing landscape. And so nothing is really surprising because no one really knew if there were going to be fans, if there were going to be no fans in the stands, and that changes the economics of it all. I mean, if you have no fans in the stands, then your team isn't going to be making as much money, and therefore you have to go back to the negotiating table to figure out who is going to bear the brunt economically of a situation where you're going to lose billions of dollars. So that's one thing right there.
The popcorn eaters will have to take up the freight.
Exactly. And here now they're in a situation where they are calling for daily testing instead of being in a situation where people feel a little bit more comfortable about being together or maybe playing a contact sport. Everybody's back on eggshells, not knowing exactly how this is going to turn out. So I'm not surprised by anything that's happening right now.
East, west, and south, that's where you're going to find locations of Northeast Factory Direct. Check them out, and it's the guaranteed price, lowest prices anywhere in this area from Northeast Factory Direct. 216-575-0403 is the number. Mary Kay is with us. How are we doing on that promotion here? We're just throwing in Mary Kay instead of Mary Kay Cabot? It's up to you.
Maybe that'll make me interesting.
Well, so far, yeah. Well, that's what we'll do. We'll just call you the interesting Mary Kay Cabot. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Less Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Celebrate NatureStone's 30-year anniversary with a free NatureStone floor. During 2020, we will be giving away 30 free floors to 30 very lucky customers to say thank you for making NatureStone the best concrete flooring solution for garages, basements, and more. Call or visit naturestone.com today to register to win, and we'll send you a copy of our new buyer's guide absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. Winners will be chosen monthly. With over 30 million square feet installed for more than 60,000 customers, it's easy to see why I always say it's not just a floor. Wow, it's NatureStone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Time for a How Come Quickie. How come the Houston Astros asked the Indians if they could loan them Slider for a couple of days just to let the batter know what pitch was coming? See, they don't. Apparently, the Houston Astros don't just care about knowing what pitch it is. They have the name of it. It's the slider that we've had here. I wonder what the Indians are doing with John Adams. Anybody know that? I'd hate to see him not be able to attend games with the drum. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Very interesting Mary Kay is here. I combined them both, interesting and one name. You just let me. I like it. You just tell me what you feel comfortable with, and I'm at your behest. I don't know what that means. Is that a bad word? That might not be a good word. I like to take that off for a minute. Whatever I just said, forget about it. Forget about it. 216-575-0403 is the number. Mary Kay Cabot. How many years covering the Browns now?
Oh gosh, it might be 30. It might be 30 with a little break there.
Yeah, the break there with the move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is the best?
Yeah.
Who is the best coach or easiest coach to work with in those 30 years?
You know, there have been a number that have been really good to work with. Romeo Crennel was somebody that I really enjoyed working with a lot. I liked working with Rob Chudzinski. I always got along with Hugh Jackson. There have been a number of guys that have been really great to work with, and there have been some that have been a little bit more challenging to work with. And I started my career with Bill Belichick as the head coach. You know, I was the main beat writer for the first time when he was the first time head coach. So that's how, you know, I broke into covering the NFL, was covering Bill Belichick. So, you know, nothing will ever be harder than that.
I'm not so sure he was very happy with the female reporter. It's just a guess. I think it's changed a little bit. It's changed mostly.
You know,
but
I don't know that he was happy with any reporter, male or female. So I never really get the sense that it wasn't, that didn't seem to be the issue with me at all, because actually I think he probably left here knowing that I could stand up to him as well as anybody else in the media. And I think I kind of gained his respect in those 5 years. So I didn't really think it was a male-female thing at all.
How come he had a problem with me? All I did was have a show called Doom and Gloom. I'm not sure why he was upset with that.
Yes, he probably had a little bit more problem with doom and gloom than he did with me. So, yeah,
You know
those were
what he
some
did?
interesting years.
I'll tell you what he did that I thought was really interesting for a first-year coach, and I'm sure you'll recall this. When you got to the locker room, the media approach to getting to the locker room or the facility is a lot different today than it was before. And they used to pass out these photo IDs with pictures and telling you what radio station or newspaper or TV station you were with. And I thought that was one way of him just checking on everybody. But the reality of it is he wanted his players to know who these people are. So in case they write something or say something, Belichick wanted to make sure that that player knew who was talking about him in that way.
Well, and we should be held accountable in that way. So I don't really have any problem with that. I mean, that's fine with me. I stand behind the things that I say and write. So if that was his MO on that, I'm fine with that.
Hard to argue, no question about that. All right, we were talking about the 3 keys to success, the offensive success. Let's have Mary Kay run them by again. Let's see what you got.
Well, I don't see the graphic yet, but
there you go.
There we go. The first one is Baker Mayfield reducing his interceptions by almost half to 11. He had 21 interceptions last year for second in the NFL. That cannot happen again. He's got to cut down on that number. He has to be more discerning with his throws. I think he will be. I think this offense is set up for him to be, but that's got to be one of the first things that happens.
He's also expected to take chances. If he's going to be throwing on the run, it's not going to be all stand up in the pocket and throw.
No, but I mean, he also should have more one-on-one opportunities with so many different weapons. I don't think you're always going to be able to double Odell Beckham Jr. or Jarvis. I think it really should open things up. That brings us to my second one there, and that is Odell tripling his touchdown catches to 12. I mean, you can't have Odell Beckham Jr. on the football field for 16 games and end up with only 4 touchdown catches out of him. That is not acceptable. Those two guys need to connect better. Baker needs to be more willing to go to Odell Beckham Jr. in times where he can score the football, whether it be the red zone or, wherever. But those two need to connect more. And if they are getting up to 12 together, you're going to be either in the playoffs or darn close to it.
All right, all the information coming out is that from the surgery that he had, he's in good shape. Is that what we know?
That's what it seems like. He looks really good. And it was a core muscle surgery, which usually takes about 2 months to recover from. And so he's had plenty of time to really come back from this. And I think he looks great from what I can see on social media.
All right, how about Austin Hooper here?
Well, I think Austin Hooper is another huge key to this offense. I didn't put down Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt because we know that they can and will run the ball. These are things that I think need to happen that didn't happen last year. So I think that Austin Hooper and getting the tight end involved in that 2 tight end set and him having double-digit touchdowns, I think that will be another key to this offense.
216-575-0403 is the number to call Mary Kay Cabot. So far, halfway through, and you were as interesting as possible.
But I still have a last name.
All right, well, listen, Rome was not built in a day.
Old habits die hard. It's just Mary Kay.
The interesting Mary Kay is with us tonight. She'll be back on Thursday just to brush up on anything she might have missed here on a Monday night. We were looking forward to seeing her there. We're going to take a look in a couple of moments about who she thinks is going to be somebody to watch for on the defensive line. We'll do that when we get back. You can explore your interests and find a program at Tri-C that puts you on a path to a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 1,140 technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu for more information. Mary Kay and I return in a moment. More sports and less Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin Wallace, so I started at Baldwin Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get texts sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history. How about this? July 20th, 1976. Hank Aaron hits his 755th and final home run of his brilliant career. Congratulations to Hammer and Hank. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay is with us, and she will be with us again on Thursday night. All right, we looked at the offense, Mary Kay. Let's take a look at the defense. Who do you expect to see some success from on that side of the football?
Well, I think you have to look at Myles Garrett first and foremost. He just became the highest paid NFL defender in history. And when you set the bar that high and you pay him that much, you have to expect that he's going to come in, he's going to dominate games. And I think he should set the team record for sacks. And I just think he needs to step up his game a little bit. I would like to see more from Myles Garrett. And I think the Browns need to see more from him. I think that, you need to make it impossible or next to impossible for that quarterback to do his job most of the time when Myles is on the field. So, you want to just see just absolute domination and take over from him.
All right, I said something the other day that unlike some other players who would sign a contract like that, that might be the last time you hear from them significantly. I don't get that feeling with Myles Garrett.
No, not at all. I think he's going to want to live up to this. I think that he's hungrier than ever to come back and try to earn NFL Defensive Player of the Year. But if he wants to win an award like that, he's got to have Aaron Donald-like games. He's got to have, J.J. Watt-like games, not just once or twice in a season, but very, very consistently. And so that's what you need to see from him for sure.
All right, next on the list.
Number two, I think that this has got to be a way more opportunistic defense. They have to help out their offense. They have to get the ball back. They have to be stripping it. They have to be thinking of fumble recoveries, forced fumbles, interceptions. Last season, they finished tied for 19th with 20, or those two numbers are flip-flopped. But it was somewhere around there. And they need to almost double that number. They need to just get crazy takeaways and just be very, very aggressive going after that football.
Can that happen that fast with the new changeover in the defensive coordinator and players not really knowing each other? Do you expect it to be able to work that quick?
It should be able to. It's something that they have to emphasize every day. And I'm sure that even though they've only had Zoom practices, I think they're already kind of driving that point home, that they have to be very attack minded. And again, that's something that Miles needs to pitch in on. That's something that everybody on the defensive line needs to do. And really everywhere across the whole defense at every single level, they need to attack and get that ball.
Who do you see as the game ends, an afternoon game, and people are walking out of the stadium? Who do you expect them to be talking about, saying, wow, I didn't expect so-and-so to have that kind of a game, and if he didn't have it, we wouldn't have won? Is there somebody that sticks out that can not just have that one fluke game, but can be consistent for at least much of the year?
Well, right now I'm going to say Olivier Vernon. We didn't get to see the best of Olivier Vernon last year because he had a knee injury.
Right.
But they need him to step up. He's another guy that they gave him $11 million guaranteed and showed some faith in him. And on the other side, the opposite side of Miles, he really needs to come through. He grades out very highly on ProFootballFocus.com when he plays, but he needs to stay healthy and he needs to take some of the heat off of Miles. He also needs to get to the quarterback and make some big impact plays.
All right, let's go to Mary Kay's list again. We'll go to number 3. Defensive success for the Cleveland Browns depends on?
Well, number 3, these linebackers, nobody even knows who the starting linebackers really are going to be yet. So I think these linebackers really need to step up and prove that they are better than everybody thinks they're going to be. I mean, I think we kind of have some idea that there are some bigger name players in the secondary, Denzel, Greedy, Grant Delpit, and we expect those guys to make some noise. But the linebackers are much maligned right now. They need to come out and say, hey, we're not going to take it. We are going to show you that we are great NFL linebackers and we're going to make some noise this year.
All right, do you think that's by design, having that defensive lineup in the linebacker position, or do you think they wanted certain people but either couldn't get them because the price was too steep, or they weren't exactly what they were looking for, and they might have said, all right, let's wait till next year to get a better core of linebackers? So I guess the original question was this by design?
Well, I think so. In some ways, it was by design. I think that they felt that they added, B.J. Goodson, they added Jacob Phillips, I think in the draft, and I think that they wanted to allocate their resources to the defensive line, and they did that. They added Adrian Claiborne, they extended Myles Garrett, they guaranteed Olivier Vernon his money, they added Andrew Billings. So that's where the money went. And they kind of said, linebacker, we're not going to spend a lot of money on that position. We will find out probably midway through the season if that was the right approach or not.
Guaranteed low price from Northeast Factory Direct. If you find it cheaper somewhere else, they'll refund the money immediately. Any of the 4 locations, which includes the website, northeastfactorydirect.com. Sokolowski's University Inn, proud winners of the James Beard Foundation Award, the only one in the city of Cleveland in Northeast Ohio to win that award, which is unbelievable. To our friends at Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. We'll come back in a moment. Mary Kay is with us. More sports and less. Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Your home is your most important investment, and your basement is the go-to part of your home. It's your children's rec room. It's where your family and friends spend time together. It's much more than just a basement. Now is the perfect time to add beauty and value to your home with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. And every Nature Stone floor comes with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. For a limited time, get our exclusive mini pearl stone for as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Let's take a look at this date in Les Levine history. July 20th, 1960. It was the Rocky Calavito-Harvey Keene game. Brush High assistant principal announces nobody will be excused to attend opening day, but Les and his friend go down there, and they have the guy paged at the game, and he was right there to respond to it. So we got back at him, Mary Kay. They shouldn't mess with us.
I can honestly say that there was finally a date from yesteryear up there that I can honestly, truthfully say that I was not alive yet.
Oh, is that right?
That is true.
All right, let's take a look at our Facebook question of the day. Assuming the NFL season goes on as planned, how do you think the Browns will finish in 2020? Glenn Berger says the Browns are a huge disappointment this year. Without organized OTAs and a practice time awarded to the new NFL coach, I would think 8-8 would be a good season. Aaron Wood says, I think the Browns will go 9-7. I'm expecting a much better season this year and in the future. Larry Pantages, Tom Landry and had 10 wins as a rookie coach. Jimmy Johnson and Chuck Noll had 1 apiece. Kevin Stefanski will do better than that. Let's say 7-9 and ask Jimmy Haslam Kevin Stefanski rather will do better than that. Let's say 7-9 and ask Jimmy Haslam to back off and stay happy. Josh Woodward, I'm sure I wasn't the only screaming TV last season when Chubb wasn't getting the ball more than he should have. Stefanski's scheme follows the rest of the talent along with the extra playoff spot, and the Browns will at least be a playoff-bound team at the least. Lawrence Butler says they'll go as far as Baker Mayfield will take them. He's very overrated. Winning the Super Bowl is what Gregory Miles is expecting. We also have the voicemail of Truth and Reason. If you try to get in on the phone and can't do it, and we're doing the show live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can call us on the number you see there. Call anytime, 216-200-6650. Leave us a message, and we'll use it as part of the show. Mary Kay, we're not going to ask you to come up with your final official tally here on the game, but on the team rather. But they were 6-10. I'll just ask: are they going to be better or worse record-wise? You don't have to give your official. You don't have to give your official vote.
Won 9 games last year if they had better coaching. So I think the bar has to be set right around 9. And I think that I think they need to make a wild card spot this year for it to be considered a successful season, at least a wild card spot. And I also feel that they should win at least 1 playoff game. So that's kind of where I have my sights set for what the expectations are for the talent on this team and for the caliber of the coaching staff they have in place.
And the Browns fans you run into every day, I would guess if you told them you expect them or hope that they'll be 9-7 with a playoff win, a lot of people are going to be happy with that.
Well, I mean, it would be a good place to start for this year. And again, I think they could have won at least 3 more games last year had some of the personnel been handled differently, had things gone a little bit differently. And of course, it would have helped if they had Myles Garrett and Olivier Vernon down the stretch defensively. They kind of went downhill after that. But I think everything is in place for them to go at least 9-7.
All right, things, of course, you haven't seen them in camp. Nobody's seen them in camp. In fact, the team hasn't seen themselves in camp either. But the David Njoku thing concerns me a little bit because there seemed to be a honeymoon period across the board. This is the undoing of the honeymoon period, and I don't expect them to trade him. Well, they don't really want to trade him, so therefore the price will be set fairly high for that. They're not going to give him away. They don't want to do that. But having said that, Drew Rosenhaus, when he takes on a challenging situation like this, he usually has some kind of an idea of what the interest is in the player, and that he probably has something up his sleeve in terms of an offer or potential offer from another team or two. Look what he was able to get the Browns for Duke Johnson. It turned out to be a win-win for everyone. So if David Njoku doesn't want to be here
and they can get the right price for him, then it makes sense to move him. If not, it's time for him to come back and play some football.
How does that work out? Rosenhaus actually goes to the general managers of other teams and says, I can get you the third round from somebody, or I can get you the second round, whatever. Is that how that works, or is it more of a case that the Browns front office is more understanding of what wants to be done by Rosenhaus?
Well, I think it gets to a point where the team gives the agent the opportunity to go out and try to strike a deal. And therefore, he's the broker, and he'll go to, whoever and try to come up with the trade parameters. That's what he did with Duke Johnson. And if he can do something similar for David Njoku, then maybe a trade will happen before the deadline.
It's interesting because he's got to follow what Njoku wants style-wise or scheme-wise, and he might have it right here, but might not be able to get it anywhere else.
Yeah, I really thought that this would have been a great situation for David Njoku to be in this season, to be able to play in a 2 tight end scheme where he was going to get on the field almost all of the time in it. I mean, Kevin Stefanski played 2 tight ends 57% of the time in Minnesota last year, which was a league high. So therefore, that puts David Njoku on the field a lot. Now, I'm sure he wants to be the number 1 tight end somewhere, and he saw the writing on the wall that he wasn't going to be that here with the Browns paying Austin Hooper $10.5 million a year. But I still think it would have been a very good situation for him.
Bud Shaw will be here tomorrow. Dennis Maniloff will be here on Wednesday. Mary Kay will be back on Thursday. We do it live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can go out and archive it any time of the day or night on cleveland.com. Let's take a break. We'll come on back one more time. Maybe we have some How Come Quickies, maybe not. If not, Mary Kay will make them up. We'll come back in a moment. More sports and less Levine exclusively on cleveland.com.
Your home is your most important investment, and your garage is the entrance to your home. It's where your kids come in from school. It's where your family and friends gather together. It's much more than just a garage. Now is the perfect time to add beauty and value to your home with an authentic NatureStone garage floor. And every NatureStone floor comes with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. For a limited time, get our exclusive gray brown blend stone for as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's NatureStone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Bud Shaw will be here tomorrow, and Wednesday will be the D-Man Dennis Maniloff. Thursday, the very interesting Mary Kay will be here on Thursday. I got it all in on that time.
You did. Thank you. It only took you 45 minutes.
I'm very slow at some things. Mr. Gullible sends in 2 quickies. Can't use the second one, and the reason, not that there's anything bad with it, I just don't understand it. So I don't want to take a chance on that. But he does ask, how come a smoothie is a scam of selling someone a peach and a banana for $5? Merchandising. Very simple. Not funny, but it is merchandising. 216-575-0403 is the number to call if you want to talk to Mary Kay. You can do just that. Mary Kay, for the fans who are season ticket holders, where are we now on whether there's going to be an exhibition game, if they're going to set a limit of 25,000 people? What do we know so far about what is either the 3rd or 4th exhibition game?
Well, as of right now, the NFL, I think, has changed its proposal. It wanted to, the players wanted none. So I think the NFL today proposed one preseason game. And I don't know if the players are going to buy into that or not and agree to that. But that's one of the next biggest hurdles to cross. The players don't want to play a meaningless preseason game and jeopardize getting all the way through the end of the season. So I know that they're going to dig in their heels a little bit on that. Not sure how it's going to go yet.
Do rookies have a vote in this?
You know what? I don't know if it's I'm not sure exactly how the negotiation is going. I don't know that they're voting on every single issue.
Okay.
We'd have to ask JC about that.
All right, but the reason I ask is you said nobody wants to gear up with another game and maybe get hurt and mess up the chances for the regular season. But if you're a rookie, you want that game to show something. Although your coaches in a normal year would see what you're doing every day in practice, an actual game film or game tape or whatever seems to work in their favor. So I would think the younger players would want to have it. The older players, I understand, they don't want any part of it.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that they would, but I think the younger players will follow the lead of, once again, there will be a leadership council in Cleveland made up of guys like Jarvis Landry, Myles Garrett, JC Tretter. They're going to follow the lead of those kind of guys. And if they're being told that playing a preseason game puts them at risk, I don't think that they will make any noise about that.
Well, yeah, although if they understand the money involved. But how about the fans? Fans don't want to be at an exhibition game either, paying full price for tickets.
No, they really don't. So, yeah, I don't know where this one is going to go yet. This is not an issue that they resolve today. They're going to have to get back at it again, I'm sure, tomorrow, if they actually want to try to pull off a training camp starting on July 28th. Right now, it's hard for me to believe that I'm going to be standing out watching a practice on July 29th, but they are at least working hard to get there.
And also from a media standpoint, I don't know how much the fans care about it. You're not going to have much access to these players under the guidelines set out now.
We will have no in-person interviews with players. They will all be Zoom interviews. The players definitely were able to win on that front. And in Cleveland, we're just going to have to see if we will have any in-person contact with the coaches, with Kevin Stefanski, or if that will also be all on Zoom. So we will soon be finding all of this out.
All right, what does that mean to you as doing your job? Is it tougher to do? Is it easier to do? Where does that stand?
Well, it's way tougher to do the job like that because you don't get an opportunity to, just have that one-on-one contact. You don't really get to know players. I mean, there are players that I haven't met yet. And, in a normal training camp, I would probably sit down at a table with Austin Hooper for 20, 25 minutes and do an in-depth interview and, get to know him as a person, let him get to know me a little bit. And then, you kind of move on from there and you have, some sort of working relationship as the season goes on. We don't have that luxury anymore. I don't have any idea how I'm going to be able to get to know some of these players on group Zoom calls, unless we're able to do a few one-on-ones or whatever, but those will be hard to pull off too.
It's a new world out
so
there.
We just all have to be positive and make the best of it.
It's a new world, if you didn't know yet.
It is.
All right, great job by Mary Kay. Of course, she'll be back on Thursday night. She will be every bit as interesting Thursday as she has been tonight, I'm quite sure. Mary Kay, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Les.
All right, we'll see you on Thursday night. All right, that'll do it for us. And we'll see you tomorrow night with Bud Shaw. Then it's Dennis Maniloff on Wednesday night. And Mary Kay will be back on Thursday. That does it for us tonight. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.